Welcome back to part 6 of our live training session here with our Honda K-Series engine and AEM Infinity. In this training module, we're going to be taking a look at completing the calibration process, dialing in our high cam or VTEC operation. So looking at our fuel, spark timing, and variable cam control, as well as setting our VTEC engagement point. We have a lot of things to discuss. Let's jump in so we can check out this tuning process. Welcome back to our live training session. We're going to be taking a look in this tutorial how to dial in our high cam or VTEC operation. So we've dialed our low cam in for idle, part throttle, and wide open throttle for both fuel, spark, and variable cam control. Now we're going to turn our attention into getting everything sorted out for our high cam operation. Now this is a pretty straightforward process. We can use a lot of what we've developed and spent the time calibrating on our low cam and bring that data into our high cam, and then we can tweak and adjust that when we have our high cam or VTEC active. Let's talk about how we have everything set up here in our calibration file, and then we're going to move into setting up our mainline dyno to do our high cam pulls, and then just get into that calibration process. This should go fairly quickly because there's not as much to sort out and to deal with on high cam as we had on low cam. Low cam really builds the foundation for the rest of the calibration and the tuning. So let's jump in here and take a look at how we have everything configured. So we have here on our page, we have VTable 1, VTable 2. VTable 1 represents our low cam of operation. VTable 2 represents our high cam of operation. And we've configured the Infinity and our base map creation process to be able to switch between VTable 1 and VTable 2 on our VTEC active state. What we need to do right now is prep our VTable 2 so that it's ready to go and has reasonable volumetric efficiency values rather than these default values we find in the table. We also have here, taking a look at our spark tuning, a singular spark timing map for both low and high cam. So spark timing here we can see is set up here, 22 degrees is what we ended up on low cam to be a safe, reasonable, reliable spark timing mount that gave us good power output, and that's where we stopped. This is going to be what we start off with on high cam, but we're probably going to add a little bit more advance going beyond 22 degrees. We usually can get away with a couple more degrees on high cam operation. So we don't have the ability to have two spark timing tables and the ability to switch between those like we do with the volumetric efficiency using our Infinity software here. Unfortunately, AEM never got around to writing that ability to switch over ignition between our VTEC active state. So what we're left with here is two VE tables, one spark timing table, and also one variable cam control table. If we go back in here, we're going to find that we have a singular VVC target 1 table. We have no ability to switch between two target cam tables, unfortunately, because that would have been more ideal for low and high cam operation. We have to work with one table and do a blending function between low and high cam for our VTEC engagement on our high cam operation. What we're going to do here is jump in, and even though we figured out here on low cam from 70 to 100% throttle, 30 degrees tapering to 20 to 0 gave us the best, broadest torque band possible, this is going to essentially have to be something we start over again with our VTEC activation. So I'm going to say here from roughly 3,000 RPM and higher, so 3,000 RPM and higher, 70% throttle to 100%. I'm going to set this at 0 degrees. We're going to start off dialing in our 0 degree high cam VE table 2, and then we'll bump up our variable cam targets here and figure out what's going to work for our variable cam target table when we're on the high cam. And then we'll learn how we can blend the rest of this table out. It's going to be pretty straightforward at that process. So let's jump in here and let's start to modify and change up a few things. Now the first thing we need to do is set our VTEC engagement relatively low. I'm going to set it at 3,000 RPM. We don't want to go much lower than 3,000 RPM because we need at least 50 pounds of oil pressure up in the cylinder head to lock our VTEC rocker assembly and do it reliably. So let's go to Wizards and we're going to go ahead and set this real quick. If I jump into the outputs and go into high side, I can go and set my VTEC engagement so that I'm at 3,000. So I'll set my off point at 28. I'll set my on point at 3,000. And we're not going to permanently keep it there. We're just doing that so we can get onto the high cam easier and stay locked onto the high cam. Now there is also a throttle threshold. I'm going to lower that to 0% throttle threshold so that we can essentially translate over into or switch over into our VTEC VE table 2 and be able to dial that table in 100% because we have both part throttle and wide open throttle to deal with here. So what we're going to do, now that we have our VTEC set at a low point, I'm going to copy my VE table 1 values and I'm going to go ahead and paste them into my VE table 2. I can use my low cam VE table values as a starting point for high cam. Now we should find on high cam the VE value are going to be higher. That's not going to be a normal because we're moving more airflow through the engine on high cam. So the VE value or the airflow estimation or representation should be higher in our VE table. I have to note what my breakpoints are set at. We only set our VTable 1 to go to 8,000 RPM. And here we have our VTable 2 going to 9,000 RPM. So if I copy up to my 8,000, then I can paste up to 8,000 here. And then I can take my 8,000 and just finish up the table here, paste at that last point. Now, what we're gonna do here, a little bit of cleanup work, I'm going to add some more VE values on the top end of this table. I'm anticipating here that we're gonna have a higher representation of airflow because again, we're locked on that high cam, we're moving more airflow, we're gonna make more horsepower and torque out of the engine. I'm gonna use Shift Plus and just bump this up a little bit, and then I'll just do a horizontal interpolation across here, just kind of building out the table ahead of time. I don't know if this is gonna be what we need for our fueling, but I'm gonna take my best guess at this and just do H, blend this across, H and V, just blend this across, and we'll determine where we need to be at. Let's undo that change.
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.